Hello, and welcome to the 12-hour prayer marathon offered by the Chicago Archdiocese of Vocation Association, otherwise known as CAVA. My name is Sister Lavina Francis Pamet, Franciscan Sister of the Sacred Heart and Coordinator of Religious Vocations Ministries in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Thank you so much for joining us in prayer today. May God bless you and give you peace. The thing that really surprised me was that it projected an air of fragility. And why? I don't know. I don't know to this day. I had a feeling it's tiny, it's shiny, it's beautiful. It's home, and it's fragile. Michael Collins, Apollo 11. This is a story, the story of the cosmos. Mystery generates wonder. Wonder generates awe. Today, we glimpse the beauty of our cosmic universe story. It is the story of the universe. It is the story of our earth. It is the story of humankind. It is your story and my story. In the beginning is the great mystery, the churning quantum foam of potentiality. Through the mystery, all things come to be. Not one thing has its being except through the great mystery. From it, all of us come into being. From the void and the dark came the light and the spark. Some 13.8 billion years ago, our universe flashes into existence. Time, space, and energy become the gifts of being. The universe expands and cools rapidly. Energy condenses into matter, subatomic particles, radical new beings with new powers, and they in turn transform into atoms of hydrogen and helium, new beings with new powers. The universe begins billions of years ago as the primordial flaring forth of stupendous energy out of ultimate mystery. Hydrogen and helium form and everything, all of creation unfolds from them. And the great mystery is there in the relationship. About 12 billion years ago, the first stars appear. They expand and collapse into themselves, forming carbon, oxygen, sulfur, iron elements necessary for life. Galaxies come forth, stars are born, they live and die. Larger stars in their death throes explode and become supernovas. As they blast out into the cosmos, supernovas create in their wombs the elements of life. The process continues for billions of years into our own time, creating 1 trillion galaxies, each with 1 billion stars. Two billion years later, interstellar dust produces molecules. 4.6 billion years ago, in the Milky Way galaxy, a supernova forms and explodes. From this gaseous debris come copper, silver, magnesium, and other elements. Within the interstellar dust, these chemical gifts of the supernovas are nurtured into simple organic molecules, vital components for the later emergence of life. And the great mystery is there in the relationship. Four and a half billion years ago, our grandmother star births the solar system. The sun is born. Our ancestral star gives herself into the transforming mystery of a supernova. Our sun and a great disk of matter, all the planets and other members of our solar system family, emerge from the dispersed body of our grandmother star. Here begins the story of what will become one blue and white pearl of a planet. Four and a half billion years ago, Earth and other planets form Earth. It's full of fire and creativity. Rain begins, forming oceans, cooling the surface. A crust forms on Earth's surface and hardens into rock. 4.3 billion years ago, the moon is born. Comets and meteorites pelt the Earth's thickening crust as it cools off. Earth is impacted by a Mars-sized planetoid that causes some of the outer layers of the molten Earth and planetoid to splash out into Earth's orbit, solidifying into the moon. The Earth's relationship with the moon and sun will choreograph the exquisite dance of life. And the great mystery is there in the relationship. 4.1 billion years ago, the miracle of rain. Earth, a privileged planet in its size and its distance from the sun, slowly cooled and gradually formed an atmosphere. As steam condenses above the Earth, the miracle of rain and weather cycles begin. The first rain falls. Then, torrential rains fall on and on and on until rivers run over the land and pool into great seas. About 4.5 billion years ago, bacteria emerge. Photosynthesis begins. Earth awakens. Life begins. Within the newly formed oceans, a rich variety of chemicals gather together to birth the wonder of life in the form of bacteria. Earth comes alive. 3.7 billion years ago, cells invent photosynthesis. Bacteria run out of free food supplies. They invent new ways to capture energy from the sun, which they then use to create new sources of food from water and simple minerals. In the process, however, they give off oxygen, a deadly corrosive gas that eventually piles up in the atmosphere and threatens life. 2 billion years ago, oxygen-loving bacteria and a nucleated cell emerge. These tiny creatures invent respiration, breathing, a new source of energy for Gaia. In the process, they also enter into communion with larger cells, thereby protecting them from oxygen. This communion leads into the nucleated cell, the basis for the evolution of all complex life. And the great mystery is there in the relationship. About 1 billion years ago, cells join with each other for survival and development. Sexual reproduction begins. Life was mysteriously drawn toward union, and the first single-celled organisms learned to share their genetic heritage and bequeath to their progeny an extravagance of possibilities. "600 million years ago, organisms begin to eat one another. Predator organisms arise, ones who have learned to use the complex biomolecules of neighboring organisms, thereby saving their own genetic resources for the development of greater physical capabilities. 600 million years ago, worms and jellyfish appear with the first nervous systems. 500 million years ago, fish emerge. The nervous system is protected by bone, a key development for further complexity. Light-sensitive eye spots evolve into eyesight. The earth sees herself for the first time, and the first fish forms with backbones, encasing the earth's earliest nervous system, along with the development of her sensory organs. 460 to 425 million years ago, plants and animals move on land. Leaving the water, animals such as worms, mollusks, and crustaceans seek the adventure of breathing air, surviving weather, and racing themselves against gravity. Algae and fungi venture ashore as well. The first plants evolve as mosses. 425 million years ago, life moves on to land. About 400 million years ago, insects invent flight. Insects evolve with nearly weightless bodies that permit them to take to the air as the first flying animals. "370 million years ago, the first trees and amphibians appear. 335 million years ago, forests evolve. Over generations, these forests load themselves with carbon extracted from the atmosphere, which later becomes fossilized as coal and oil. "233 million years ago, dinosaurs and flowers appear. Following the fourth and greatest mass extinction, the dinosaurs emerged. For 170 million years, these creatures explored the extremes of size, speed, and strength. They also developed a new pattern unknown previously in the reptilian world: parental care. Flowers emerge as well, and the great mystery is there in the relationship. "260 million years ago, the first mammals walk Earth. The first mammals, small and nocturnal, jump, climb, swing, and swim through a world of giants. Some rodent-sized insect eaters evolve lactation, enabling mothers to spend more time in the nest, keeping their young both fed and warm. "150 million years ago, birds fly. Birds evolved from certain dinosaurs, following the insects into the vast vault of the sky, while Earth adorns herself magnificently in colorful and fragrant flowers, making themselves irresistible to insects. and thereby invites the sky creatures into a new dance. In more recent studies, it was discovered that flowers began to emerge 100 million years earlier. And the great mystery is there in the relationship. 65 million years ago, the fifth mass extinction. An asteroid 6 miles in diameter hits the Yucatan Peninsula, leading in time to a severe drop in temperature, marking the end of the age of dinosaurs and the beginning of the age of mammals, known as the Cenozoic era. With the dinosaurs gone, the once dark and sheltered small mammals stride into daylight, moving quickly to occupy available ecological niches. Over the course of the next 60 million years, Earth greets rodents, whales, monkeys, horses, cats and dogs, antelopes, gibbons, grazing animals, orangutans, gorillas, elephants, chimpanzees, camels, bears, pigs, baboons, and the first humans. 25 million years ago, whales, the largest marine animal, emerge. Four million years ago, hominoids leave the forest, stand up, and walk on two legs. The savanna offers the challenges and opportunities for these early creatures to evolve into humans. They move over the surface of the earth, eventually spreading themselves over all 6 continents. A little over 2.5 million years ago, the first humans walk Earth. 500,000 years ago, clothing, shelter, and fire are discovered. 100,000 years ago, modern humans emerge. Language, shamanic and goddess religions, and art become integral with human life. Spirituality is born. 40,000 years ago, human language begins. 32,000 years ago, the first musical instruments are made.
Bread of all-inclusive love, bread of love outpouring, bread of animating love.
11,000 years ago, agriculture begins. Humans begin to shape the environment, deciding which species shall live and which shall die. Domestication of animals occur. 5,000 years ago, classical religions emerge. Hinduism, Confucianism, Judaism, Buddhism. 3,500 years ago, the rise of civilizations. 2,000 years ago, Jesus the Christ is born. Just over 500 years ago, Copernicus discovers that the sun is at the center of the known world. Earth and other planets orbit around the sun.
May the Christ light shine in you.
400 years ago, the rise of the modern nations begins.
Shine in me, then together.
About 270 years ago, scientists begin to calculate the age of the Earth. humans tried to understand how old the earth is through empirical observations. Over 100 years ago, empirical evidence of an expanding universe is discovered. 75 years ago, Earth is seen from space. The Earth becomes complex enough to witness her own integral beauty. And the great mystery is there in the universe, becoming conscious of itself. About 60 years ago, scientists find evidence of the origin of the universe as they see the primordial flaring forth. Today, the story of the universe is being told as our sacred story. The flaring forth continues, and the great mystery is here, at this moment, in our very being, connected as one. Amen.
Touch the earth with gentleness, touch the earth with love, touch her with a future by the way you live today. God has given us the power to create the world anew if we touch the earth together, me and you. The time is here, the time is now, we can change things. Give the earth your dream for harmony, she is waiting for love, waiting for you, waiting for me. Touch the earth with gentleness, touch the earth with love, touch her with a future by the way you live today. God has given us the power to create the world anew if we touch the earth together, me and you.
Show the earth you care about her future. Melt the walls of hate and fear that keep us apart. Believe we can live together as friends of the earth. Touch the earth with gentleness, touch the earth with love, touch her with a future by the way you live today. God has given us the power to create the world anew if we touch the earth together, me and you. Be the reason, be the hope for others to believe that the earth is meant for beauty, goodness, and peace, and that our God of love is God of the earth's one family. Touch the earth with gentleness, touch the
church.